contribution rules have undergone significant change in the past few years, encouraging the revision of associated strategies. Philip LaGreca and Graham Colley from Super Concepts have joined me to discuss some of the new parameters SMSF advisors should examine with their clients. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks, Darren.
To see you, Darren.
Now, the most recent change has been the scrapping of the work test for people up to the age of 75. What difference will this make to contribution strategies?
Well, Darren, it hasn't really been scrapped for concessional contributions. They'll still be in place for personal concessional contributions. However, for non-concessional contributions, they have been scrapped from 67 through to 75. So the main issue around that will be people working out whether they can make those non-concessional contributions going forward and get the tax concessions associated with superannuation compared to their own personal tax that they might be paying. So in some cases, they'll be paying much more than 15% in their own personal name. So maybe that'll encourage people to make more non-concessional contributions to super. The other side of it, of course, is that there's no condition of release applying to those people who are older than 65, so that they can take their money out and put that back in as a non-concessional contribution if they've got that. So that, from an estate planning point of view, can certainly have a large impact, particularly if the death benefits are going through to non-dependent adult children of the member of that superannuation fund.
Now, the ability to use non-concessional contributions bring forward provisions has also changed, hasn't it? So what impact will that have?
Well, I suppose that depends on how much people have got to be able to use the bring forward rule. The timing is always important, and timing with superannuation, particularly if they're combining that with other concessions that they've got in place and they're close to their transfer balance caps or total superannuation balances, that can certainly have an impact. Principally, say, for example, the combination of making non-concessional contributions with downsizer contributions, that can really have an impact if that pushes people over the various thresholds for non-concessional contributions.
Now, Philip, there's also been a change to the downsizer rules too, and this is a very popular contribution strategy. What's happened there?
Well, the main change is really the age at which you become eligible for it. Previously, it was 65, so it's now going to be 60. And I guess that sort of solves, shall we say, two problems. One of the issues are that you could actually have had situations previously where you had one person in the couple who could make a downsizer contribution and the other one couldn't because of an age gap. So that has helped alleviate some of those issues. I think the other thing here is it's also probably a recognition that the downsizer is not necessarily really linked to age pension age type things. We want to encourage people to downsize or potentially relocate. It's not just about age pension. And so that's really, I think, where this age change is really about. It could be people who are sea changing, for instance, but if they're doing it at an older age, well, this gives them that opportunity as well.
Now, the $450 threshold has also been removed. Who will that mainly affect, and what effect will that have?
Well, that's probably, I mean, it is an SG issue. So, I mean, obviously it's targeted employed persons. Where it's probably biggest impact is predominantly, I guess, it's a benefit for women because it's going to impact casual and part-time workers. So low income workers are going to be the ones who benefit from this more than anyone else. And I guess you sort of also have to think that this was probably a long time coming, because the original idea of the 450 was put in because originally 540, because it was originally tied to the actual tax-free threshold as well. When you go way back, because if it took 12 times, it was the old 540. But the other thing that it also was tied to was the fact that the original SG rate was, of course, much lower. And remember, we didn't have SuperStream. It was all manual checks and paper. And so asking an employer to do, you know, a 3.5% or 4% contribution of a very small wage, manually calculating it, it just wasn't worth it. Now, of course, we've got a rate that's 10% rather than 4%. And they said we're now on a much more electronically friendly mechanism. So, you know, the reasons why we carved it out initially don't really exist as much now.
Well, thank you, Philip and Graham, for sharing those thoughts with us today. Philip and Graham will be discussing these points in a lot more detail at the Self-Managed Super SMSF Professionals Day 2022 to be held on the 31st of May. If you want to register for the event or find out a little bit more about it, please reference the details you can see on the screen now. Thanks again, gentlemen, and I look forward to your presentation at the Professionals Day in May.